Hi, this is David Consumer. Today I want to talk about a new unit called LFO. And there's a lot of background noise. I'm sitting outside in the sun playing with my new synthesizer, so hopefully you can hear everything. Okay, so the basic idea is like sometimes you want to sequence a parameter outside of like what a tracker does, right? So you want it to not necessarily go with the beat, or you want it to just sound more funky or dirty or outside of the beat, or you want to do like some kind of polyrhythm thing or whatever. And so LFOs can help you get like a more analog kind of sound. So let's make a little bit of a 303 style thing. So first, we need the standard stuff, right? So we need an oscillator, we need a filter, and let's set the oscillator. Well, yeah, we'll keep it saw, but we'll turn the sustain way down so it's like really short little notes. And we'll turn off release, and we'll turn down decay, and turn off attack. Okay, so if we look at this, I'm going to turn the reso way up. So I'll make a little pattern here, and I'm going to use my favorite scale, the Persian scale, and my favorite BPM, 80. And I will okay, so this creates a little loop. I'm going to downscale these, or set the octaves down like 2, so it sounds a little more bassy. And let's hear what that sounds like. Let's add some more. Okay, so now if we go to the instrument and we mess with cutoff, we can hear like what this sounds like, and I'll use left and right to make it more dramatic. All right, so we want to sequence that, and so let's use an LFO. So LFOs are a bit tricky because they are off by default, and the reason I did that was because if you set any of these parameters and this is on, it'll just start messing all your stuff up. And so if you're looping through your parameters, it's similar to if you sequence something and then you change like what the unit is, it'll mess with the wrong thing. So we don't want that. Another thing to note here is that instrument here is whatever instrument the LFO is embedded in. That's what it defaults to, but you can set it to something else. So if you had many instruments, you could sequence other stuff if you wanted. But we're going to keep it 0. And then the parameter that we want on filter is 9. So let's go here, and let's set this to 9. And then center and depth control like how much, how does it mess with the values. So if you want it to kind of gravitate around a value, set the center to what you want, and then set the depth to really low. But otherwise, you can kind of mess with that. So, all right, so let's set the depth really high, and let's set the center to middle, and we're going to turn it on. So now we have a sine wave that goes through and messes with that value. And if we go look at the filter, you can see it's already messing with it. So this is outside the track. This is completely separate from the regular sequence that we've got in there. Now I can see already that it's kind of fast. So let's turn the rate down. Let's turn it down even more. Let's get it real low. Now look at that. Okay, so now we have a pattern for this LFO that is it's longer than the pattern that we're playing, which is good because it'll sort of loop through it. All right, so if we hit play here, you can see the LFO is, outside of the pattern. Anyway, that's a new feature that should be in the latest version. Have fun.